let's go, let's go, let's go. Alright, people wanna hate every day, it's okay.
Welcome back, Reckless Success. Tonight I'm Vincent Vega. I've got Marcellus Wallace's beautiful wife, Mia Wallace, on.
Hello, Vincent.
Hello, Mia. And tonight we're in the spirit for Halloween, by the way.
Yeah. We don't typically dress up like this, but this is our Halloween costumes. Jesse's surprisingly a good sport about dressing up for Halloween. So I'll put up some of our past costumes because I think they're pretty good. And this year we watched like a snippet of Pulp Fiction. I had never seen it. And I was like, there's our Halloween costume. And here we are.
Here we are. Last year we were Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
This is definitely better.
This is better.
Yeah.
I love it. I've got my fake candy cigarettes.
These are fake?
Yeah, they're fake.
I don't know.
I've done a lot of things in my life, but I've never smoked a cigarette, so I'm going to be sporting the candy cigarettes.
Let's kick this off. So last episode, we were talking about a trailer. I mentioned a trailer I had in Colp at one point.
So Jesse's bad about, on episodes, he'll give the littlest snippet of information about something, and whenever I'm recording and I can't ask questions, I'm over there like, wait, what? I want to know more about that. So after the episode, I was like, I didn't know you owned a trailer in Colp. And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, and I didn't know you went to a party with a watermelon wagon. And he's like, yeah, like it's no big deal. And I was like, no, I want the whole story. So I want him to share how that came about.
My candy cigarette blew out smoke. So, all right, it started off, I was going to a drug house in Colp. This dude lived in a camper. So then I start getting to meet all the people that live in Colp, which, if you don't know where Colp is, Carterville used to be a sundown town. So all the blacks would leave town. This is in like 1950 or 40.
Is this historically accurate?
Yes.
And so people that were African American had to live in Colp?
Yep.
That's crazy.
There's a book called Sundown Towns of Illinois, and it talks about all these places.
Wow.
So the blacks would leave town, the whites, back during segregation. So Colp was where all the homies lived out in Colp.
Okay.
So, like, we didn't know anybody in Colp ever. It was just like its own little town.
It's very small. I mean, the
yeah,
population's what, 100 to 200 people
right,
at that?
It's like a village.
Yeah.
So here I am in my teens smoking meth in a camper with some like 50-year-old dude. Quick story about this 50-year-old dude. One time we went over to smoke in his camper, me and another guy. And we get there, and the dude's like, where's the dope at? And the guy goes, oh, hand me my underwear. And we looked over, and there was a pair of underwear with a big old shit stain on them. And the dope was in the pouch of the underwear. He got it out. We sat there and waited.
That's the thing, the drug addict, the unglamorous life of a drug addict.
Yeah, that's nasty. So anyways, while I'm hanging out with this dude, I start meeting all the homies in Colp. And they like me and whatnot, and we're trading a little meth for some coke whenever we needed, because, you gotta diversify if you're in business.
I feel like you always make friends with anybody, no matter where you are.
Right.
So I'm not surprised.
So, oh, shit.
Don't choke on your hair.
Damn.
It'll get you.
Hold on, I got one long that's stuck in my throat right now. There we go. So anyways, through my connections in Colp, I find that there's this trailer for like abandoned cell or whatever on the back corner. And
Jesse's eating his candy cigarette.
Smoking it. It's smoking down, see? Now
Yeah.
it's shorter. So anyways, I end up buying this trailer for like 20 grams or something like that. $2,000 basically. And so now I got me it's like my first house,
And you're probably like 17.
I still lived in my mom's basement, and it didn't have like no power, no water,
Oh my
nothing,
God.
but it was my home. So, so on staying there and doing my various drug dealings, I got to know everybody in town, and they would like look out, like if I was doing something illegal, shady that I shouldn't be doing, I just see. So anyways, they would like let out little calls. That's what they do in Colp. There's like,
Really?
well, this was 20 years ago. Now they've got cell phones. But back then, like, they would like alert the next block if
Like
it
if
was
the
like
cops were around or
if it
something?
was a drug block.
No
yeah.
way.
Yeah. So I get to know these guys. Well, fast forward, I'm at like an expo that's like a big yard sale thing, at DuQuoin State Fair. I don't know what it is. It's just got a bunch of like yard sale shit.
The flea market.
Flea
probably.
market's what it
Yeah.
was. And I found the Red Ryder wagon with the wood grain on it. And Martin Luther King Day was coming up. And because I'm a good participant, I was over at took the wagon over to my buddy Ronnie's, put it all together, and this thing was clean. I'm talking, it had the 3-post wood that went around the top, and I went and got like 4 or 5 watermelons.
You said your neighbors in Colp were having a party and they invited you to the cookout, right? Like
Yeah.
that's why you didn't just show up with
No,
watermelons.
I didn't just show up. No, I was going there, but my whole plan was to take them a trailer full of watermelon as like everybody loves watermelon. So my plan was I was going to a barbecue. It was Memorial Day. I'm going over there. I went to my buddy Ronnie's, put the wagon together, got like 4 or 5 watermelons and put them in the wagon. And then I hooked it on the back of my 4-wheeler and rode over to the party. And I was like the life of the party. I showed up with these watermelons. Everybody was happy. They had chicken going, barbecue. It was a good time.
I love these stories because you were totally methed out, 130 pounds.
Never been around a black guy in my life. Here I am taking watermelons.
At the cookout. But imagine someone driving on the road on a regular, Monday or whatever day. I guess it's always on Monday. And they pass you on your
parents.
four-wheeler, right?
Yeah,
your
my
parents, or your grandma.
Right.
And like you've got a wagon connected to the back of your
I
four-wheeler.
can only go like 20 miles an
full
hour.
of watermelons, and you're
Its
pulling up
little
in
wheels
Colp.
its little wheels wouldn't go very fast.
Right.
I thought like I'd be able to like fly over there, and I got going down the road, and it was all over the place.
Weighed
so
down with the watermelon.
it was a slow ride,
But it's just funny you went to cookouts like that in the middle of your drug deals. Like you're like
Right.
running from the cops.
not eating
1 hour.
shit, all that
Right.
good food, and I'm over there like, no, I'm good.
I'm not
good.
hungry.
I'm not hungry.
You're like, I just ran from the cops 3 hours ago, and now I'm at the cookout living a normal life
Right.
with my trailer down the street.
I would have ran with that trailer and probably still arrived with those watermelons.
If you got
If I had
chased on
to.
the way.
Yeah. Speaking of slow running like that, 20 mile an hour. One time I had one of those little pocket crotch rocket mini bikes, it's
Yeah.
like 50cc. And I was over at Kenny's, who's dead.
Mm,
I don't even remember Kenny's last name, but Kenny's dead.
poor Kenny.
I'm over at Kenny's house and Dustin Bean come over. Dustin Bean's dead too, so I can say all these
Jesse
names.
says it's so light, but it's like shows you how a lot of addiction leads to death, whether it's overdose, health decline, getting shot and murdered. Like there's not a lot of good ways out of drug addiction.
I've always said OTSS. Only the strong survive.
God.
So here I am. These 2 guys. Anyways,
That's so mean.
the 3 of us are hanging out, and I got this little 50cc, and this thing was dangerous. Like, it had the front and a back brake, but the front brake was where a normal back brake would be on a crotch rocket or something like that. It was backwards, so you would grab the back brake and the front brake, and it was like super touchy. So like everybody
God.
would fall over, hit the gravel. So Bean's like, "Let me ride that thing." All right, he takes off through Cambry, going. And he's gone for a long time. And I'm like, damn, he stole my little bike or something, And here I see him like 2 blocks over coming, and there's a cop behind him. And the cop got him into this backyard. He comes back through. We're in Kenny's backyard. He comes like through the yard beside it. He got away. He ended up coming back like
Shut
4
up.
hours
My little
later with
mini
my little
bike.
mini bike. But yeah, he's like 10 mile an hour, like, like the little thing's just wide
It's like
open.
slow motion police chase.
And we're all just watching, like, damn, there goes your little mini bike.
Yeah, adventures in the drug world. So, I wanted to talk about on a more serious note, which is hard to do tonight. Because on the last episode, Jesse was also talking about going out and drinking and how Mitch was saying how he's totally sober since he went to rehab.
Right.
And for people that listen that are recovering or recovered addicts, or however you want to say it, I think that that's a slippery slope, and Jesse is like a lucky person that he can drink alcohol and he isn't an alcoholic, or he doesn't fall straight back into drug addiction. I think a lot of people do, and that's why several of your friends that quit using drugs don't drink at all, because like 1 beer in, 2 beers, they're buying crack.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I don't want people to think that that's a normal thing that like people can do, because I think that it's a dangerous thing, especially I just don't want people to think that if you've been sober, if you've had to quit using drugs and alcohol, and then you hear Jesse share these stories where he can drink and go out and think, oh, maybe I could do that now. It's been a while, because I don't think that's true in a lot of cases. And I think it can be super dangerous and put people back into addiction.
Right.
I think your addiction was meth, like you whenever we're addicted to pills or other things like that, or alcohol. But I think a lot of addicts will become addicted to any substance. So I just wanted to give like a disclaimer about that.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I don't do certain things. People have asked me, do I ever feel like I want to try meth again or speed? No, nothing in me wants to do that. Like, just the thought of the feeling that it gave me the next day after I tried it and I'd sobered up was horrible. So enough to make me not want to do it again. But not everybody's like that, which goes to my next story. We were out in the past couple weeks, and well, maybe I shouldn't follow up a don't drink story with being out, but we were out and we seen this guy that we knew from a long time ago, and we were talking to him, we were catching up. And while we were talking with this guy, we were in Carbondale, we actually seen a deal go down between these other people. And I'm like, damn, did you just see that? Those guys are over there dealing. And this person who is an ex-addict was like, I think that guy's got coke. And I'm like, who cares? And he's like, I'm going to go ask you. And I'm like, do what? I said, do you know that guy? And he's like, no. So it's not one of my friends, just this dude that I used to be friends with. Like, went over there and buddied up with this guy, and like that was it.
Like,
I was
out
like,
of the blue.
just like that. Like he's like,
He's
that guy's
back
got
on some
coke.
drugs. Like
Yeah.
he's gonna go do some drugs randomly.
Or just
maybe
that-
he does them. Who knows?
Maybe he doesn't, but just the fact that it was that easy for him to go over and
and
like,
tell you about it
identify.
like it's super normal and
Right.
no big deal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was like, it was kind of like that time Dee and them got in a fight, and they were like, come on. He was like, come on, let's go. And I just sat there like
I'm good.
So, yeah, some people can't take it. They go right back, even
Right.
at the sight of somebody else
And
having
drinking,
it.
I think, can fuel that. That's kind of my point. Like, I think some people, it doesn't take much when you're not sober-minded to go back to your addiction, whatever the addiction is,
Right.
or drug use, or even alcohol. Like, alcoholism runs in my family. And although I've not felt like I've been an alcoholic in my college years, I definitely drank way too much like everybody else. But I could see how easy it's like habit forming. And then after college and adulthood, I have to consciously, like, when I'm super stressed and I notice myself craving a glass of wine on a Tuesday or wanting to have a drink on Wednesday night, and I'm like, ugh, like that's not, we go out on the weekends and stuff and we'll drink alcohol, but like, because of my family history, I know that that's something I have to kind of watch.
Right.
So I'll like meditate more, and I'll go to bed early and get rested so I'm not so on edge and stressed out. Or I drink my hot teas that I drink, or I have like carbonated water, like just to feel like a refreshing something else.
Is that sparkling water you had that time?
Yeah. I was
Gosh,
drinking one last
that was
night.
rough.
It's not very good,
It's
but
not very good.
all I really drink is water,
Right.
So like I feel like I'm stressed and I need something else. And so like, especially if you have alcoholics or addicts in your family, I do think that's hereditary. And so it's something you have to pay attention to, especially with alcohol, because it's so accepted. Like, it's easy to be an alcoholic
Right.
because most people accept drinking, and obviously we drink. I'm not saying that drinking's bad, but
Right.
I think you have to check yourself and remind yourself, like, if you're drinking too often.
We drink about every 100 hours of work. So on the weekends.
Yeah. But no, we're obviously not anti-alcohol and drinking. I just thought it was important to point out because of a lot of people that listen probably do have addiction past. And just so people know, like, I don't want to glamorize that or act like it's not serious to drink alcohol, because that can easily take over your life too.
Right. I think for me, it's easier now with alcohol because I never really used alcohol a lot when I was younger.
You never drank a lot because you were
Yeah.
on
I was
like
always,
speed.
yeah, I was always doped out. So alcohol, I didn't start drinking alcohol until I was like in my 20s. I mean, I did,
But not
but not
really.
like
Regularly.
not for a buzz. Like, I guess, yeah.
And even now, like, Jesse never during the week drinks. Like, I'll during the week, like I said, have a glass of wine or something. But you don't ever drink during the week. You only drink if we have like a date night out and we're going to dinner or we're going to a concert or doing something like an activity out. It's the only time you do.
I prefer to smoke my buzz. That's Vincent, not Jesse.
Oh, that's something Vincent would say.
Yes, that's right.
Coming
I'm
up.
just curious, does it piss you off if someone tries to ask you if you want to do shit that got you fucked off?
I mean, I never really had anybody
I've
ask me.
had one person since I've been home.
I've had one too, right? So when I got home, he was in the operators and he was building that house over there or whatever. And I can't remember what I went there to get. I went there to get something. I knew him before, I went away through my dad.
Yeah.
And I was on house arrest pretty much still. I was just out for a couple hours and he's like, telling me all how great he is. So I thought he had cleaned up and he's like, there's something over there under that hard hat for you. And I was like, and I went and picked it up and it was,
still fucking.
yeah. And I'm like, really, dude? I got like an ankle bracelet
That's the
on.
problem.
It
You
was
guys
snoozy.
missed that because we have a special guest that's in the studio and I've got hair in my mouth. But we have a special guest and what we were talking about is not going back to places that you frequented before. He asked me if it bothered me if, somebody offered me speed, which it's only happened one time since I've been home. And no, it didn't bother me. It did, obviously, but I just thought, what the fuck are you talking
Yeah.
about? Like,
But
I
the
wasn't home
point,
very
and he
long.
was saying like you can't be going back to the same places when you get out of prison or rehab or whatever that you used to hang out. You've got to get a whole new set of friends. You've got to
Right.
stay away because those people don't have your best interest at heart, and they're going to be okay with you using again, and they're going
Yeah.
to want you to start partying again. Like they don't want you to get better.
Because they're still partying like it's no big deal.
Yeah.
Like I do remember doing that. We'd be messed up. Somebody go, 6 months, 3 months or something. And the day they would get out, it would be like
Like
rush
a
over to
party.
him. Cyclops, my buddy. I remember him getting out after like 6 months. And like right when he got home, I took him like a Christmas bag of like 5 grams.
Isn't that crazy?
And he was just waiting and anticipating. I met him at the basement window on the side
Oh,
of the house
God.
and gave it to him. Yep.
It's a bad cycle.
One time, I won't say his name, but there's these brothers, and they were idiots, like real big idiots. They just constantly get caught with labs in their truck, shit like that. And this dude got caught off of Hafer, that cemetery. I think that's Hafer.
Hurricane Cemetery.
Well, yeah, back there by the city's property, like between the cemetery and the city property. He got caught with a meth lab back there. So he gets out a month or two later, and he goes right back to the same spot. And he gets caught, like literally the first night. And I'm like, dude, why did you go back to that same spot? And he was like, it took him 3 months to catch me last time. I didn't think they'd be waiting on me. And that's how dumb people were. Just like, he went right
That
right
is
there.
dumb.
Yeah.
So before we move on from alcohol talk, I have to tell this story from this weekend. So Jesse and I don't drink and drive. So we will go out drinking, but we usually line up a driver, whether that's like our friends' college-age kids or someone needing some extra money that we know, whatever. We'll pay people to drive us home because that's what makes sense to us. So, and I think everybody should do that really because it's a cheap way to get home and it's safer. So we were out and I hadn't lined up a ride, but I had seen an ad on Facebook. Jennifer, we'll call her.
Mhm.
It's not her real name. But she had taken the time to make a poster, helicopter background, her face photoshopped into a little car.
Very Miami Vice. looking.
Yes. And I'm like, we're calling Jennifer. I'm going to see if she'll pick us up. And she answered and she did. And so we get in the car and we're driving on these back roads and she's not like the best driver.
She was a bad driver.
And so I was like, Jennifer, like, are you good? Like, watch the road, girl. And I was in the front seat and Jesse and our friends were in the back seat. And Jesse said, Jennifer, have you been drinking? And she said, oh my God, no, I would never be drinking and pick you up for a safe ride home. And she said, but it was a slow night and I did take a gummy and weed's legal in Illinois. So a weed gummy. And I'm like, Jennifer,
Jennifer was having a good time.
you are not allowed to drive on weed gummies.
And then Jennifer goes on to tell us, I asked her after getting to know her a little bit, and I'm like, Jennifer, you got any taxi cab confessions? And Jennifer said, well, and Jennifer was, I'm like, Jennifer, you got any taxi cab confessions? Well, there was this one guy that wanted me to stand on his face or sit on him, put my feet in his face and give him a handy for $100. And I'm like, damn, Jennifer. And she's like, I mean, it was $100. I'm like, okay.
It was
so-
her taxi cab confession.
Yeah, she was telling me. She was
She did
she
it.
was saying it was her. She was like, it was $100. I mean, come on, guys. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good ride. She got us safely,
She got us home.
but she was on gummies.
She probably made, I think that ride was like $20 and I think she made out with about 80.
Yeah,
Right.
Jesse always over tips for a sober
Especially
driver.
if you got some stories like that.
Right.
Further I'd
Entertainment.
hope.
Without
Right.
candy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let us Bluetooth to her car and everything.
Oh yeah,
so
Lisa was going through her bass and got it bumping and
got her bass and treble up a little bit.
right.
Yeah. So practice safe, sober driving when you're out, because there's lots of people that'll to give you a ride for $20.
Safe driving and safe sex.
Yeah.
What's going on in the business world?
I don't even know.
We got a lot going on in the business world. So we've got 4 jobs that we've got to finish before Christmas, and it's October. And there's quite a few weeks of work in there, so we're definitely gonna
We're
have
about
our
to be bumping and grinding.
bumping and grinding.
It's gonna be crazy, but we can do it.
Yeah, all the time. So
It's so yeah. So the jobs that are commercial jobs, it's like we have said before, each one's different, and so it's so crazy having to look through all the paperwork and figure out like this job requires these papers signed, this one requires these and this cert and this
you
number.
can use a sub on this one. You can't use a
Yeah.
sub. You gotta approve. You know, everything's got to be approved, all the way down to like the hatch on a manhole that we're using
Yeah,
by a guy that we don't even know who it is yet. And
a
it's all
lot of
urgent
little-
to get done.
yeah. All of it needs to be done quick for different reasons on these jobs. So it's weird when they like advertise the job as urgent, but then you're waiting on the project owner to like give the go ahead. You're like,
Right.
all right, we're ready because you said it was urgent, and they're like, hold up,
We
we're not ready yet.
we bid those wetland jobs. They still haven't.
I know
bid
it's
yet.
been like a month
They haven't.
or
They've bid, but they haven't told
release
anybody.
the
Right.
who won the job,
And
which
that
is
was
so
all
weird.
a rush to get it done for the planting season this fall.
Yeah, so that
So-
stuff's crazy. That's a weird thing. So you hope to get jobs that seem urgent, and then even if you want it, you just never find out. Or I don't know. It's just a bizarre learning curve.
Right.
With my great new assistant slash office manager slash personal assistant slash everything, I've been trying to show her stuff to do to take workload off my back, and she too is like, I feel like I'm reading law books over. I'm like, I
She's
know.
a producer.
Yeah, she's a producer now too of the podcast. But yeah, it's like she's like some of this stuff. I'm like, I know. It's like you're studying like law terms. Like a lawyer definitely drafted this, and then we're going through it, making sure we don't miss anything.
Right.
So it's a lot to take in, but I mean, it's good, and I'm glad to learn it. I think we both are,
Yep.
and we've seen the value in having Jesse in the office and meeting with people versus only on a tractor. Like very quickly, we saw that because it's like we were worried to pull you off equipment
Right.
for part of the week,
Yeah.
to work in the office because him being on a tractor is what makes us money, but it's definitely paying off.
Yeah. No, I've been having lunches with people, getting to know other companies, other contractors. One of the jobs that we're going to do, I actually met through networking while I was on pre-bids. So
Right.
stuff like that goes a long way.
It does. It's been good. We went to a little state seminar about bidding stuff with the state of Illinois, which I think was helpful.
Yeah.
And talks about like their diversity programs because we're a woman-owned business. So applying for that, because that's confusing when you're just reading it all online. So like actually talking to people and meeting people there that you can ask questions to is going to be really helpful. And I'm hoping to get that in really
Yeah.
soon.
No, was that free? That seminar? Yeah.
The state puts it on for small businesses so that you can figure out what the heck's going on because it's a lot to take in.
We go to this conference and Lisa's like learning all this stuff, and each table had like a little snack or a goodie. So like Lisa was the one talking and learning, and I would be grabbing the mints and the candies, and they had like little trucks that had toothpicks and mints
You
and
did get those little-
sanitizer and bags.
Jesse had backpacks, literally.
Yeah, I had 2 backpacks walking out full of stuff. Abe Lincoln head on
You
a fan.
did. You had to get 2 backpacks from one vendor to carry all the stuff you had from the other state agencies because you got so much free stuff.
Yeah.
It was funny though, because I don't eat candy. I just like chocolate. Like Jesse and our kids love candy. Like we have a huge candy bowl at our house, but I don't know. I don't like candy. I just only like chocolate as my little treat of choice. But there was some Jolly Ranchers in a bowl at this table. And while I was about to talk to this guy, was like, hey, you want some of that candy? And I looked over and I was like, give me a blue Jolly Rancher. Like I do like those. And then while I was talking to the guy, I also grabbed a blue Jolly Rancher and I shoved it in my little Padfolio for later in case Jesse forgot to get me one. And so when we were walking out,
You were eating the one
I was
gave
eating the
you.
one he gave me, and then I like dropped something and I bent over to pick something up, and my another Jolly Rancher fell into my Padfolio. And he was like, "What? You're like stuffing Jolly Ranchers in your pockets?" And it was just funny because for not
You
being.
never eat more than one piece
I
of
never
candy
eat candy,
either.
and I hear him like it's falling out my briefcase. Like I had candy stashed for later, and it was just funny. It's stupid funny, but like it made
Right.
us laugh pretty hard because I felt like it was like a drug falling out of my suitcase. Like
You'd hid it
whoops,
from me.
I hid it
Yeah.
for
When I
later.
turned around and snuck off, you reached in and got you another
I
one.
had those blue ones though; they're good. I
Right.
did. I snuck one. I was afraid you forgot. I'm afraid you're gonna eat mine.
I got you, baby.
I know, but yeah, we had a good time. It was a fun little day trip to the state.
So this week we got to start a sidewalk job, replacing sidewalk.
Mm-hmm.
It's not our forte, but it shouldn't be hard. We'll get guys finishers out of the hall.
Yeah.
We'll do the excavation work. And then after that, we got a big DNR project that we're going to do.
Yeah.
What is carbon? And then a city project.
And then a local city project.
And
So
then another DNR project that we'll sub on.
yeah,
So
we're moving right along.
busy end of the year. Your assistant's going to be out there driving tractors before it's
know.
over.
We were talking about there's all these diversity quotas you have to meet. And since we are a woman-owned small business with the feds, but we haven't got the state designation, it doesn't count. But so you have to have certain minorities or women on the job site, which is totally cool and fine. I'm good with that. But Jesse and I were discussing this on like who could we get out of the hall, like the laborers hall, to meet this quota and stuff. And he's like, we might have to put Melissa out there. You and Melissa gonna move your office to the
Right.
job site in the job trailer. So you guys can be our on-site superintendents.
Right.
And I'm like, well, yeah, I guess I could be, but it's just funny.
You should wear that wig if you are.
I'll wear this wig
First
with
day
my
wear the
hard
wig
hat.
and the next day don't.
Yeah,
And like each day switch it up. One day
we'll
have
both
it-
come in wigs.
Yeah.
No one will. Yeah.
Yeah.
No one will know what's going on.
One day I'll have this wig. The
No one
first
will work
day.
for us.
Yeah, the next day I'll come normal.
We'll never have a job.
Uh,
But yeah, we have fun. Even though we get stressed out, we have a good time.
yeah, what do we got coming up? Are we gonna do SIU homecoming or no?
I don't know.
We talked about it, but
We've got 2 Halloween parties,
yeah.
Jesse's little sister's wedding, my office manager's wedding / producer is right after October. We've got a lot in the next 5 weeks of personal stuff.
Right.
One of our sons just had their birthday.
Yep. He's driving on a permit.
Yeah. It's a
The
lot.
oldest son. He's driving my truck
Yeah,
yesterday.
he
drove
told
it
me.
home.
He said it was pretty hard.
Right.
It is hard to drive.
And I'm like the worst instructor. I'm like, speed up, slow down, you're speeding.
Everything I've
Speed up.
told our son, Jesse tells him the opposite. So I told him if at any point you stop on a roadway, whether it's because there's an ambulance coming or someone in front of you is braking really fast or there's an accident, I said, put on your flashers. So whoever's behind you, it's like they're going to see that you're stopping in the road or pulling off on the shoulder, right?
Right.
And then I was on the phone with Jesse when he was driving our son, and there was like an ambulance or a cop coming, and I heard him say, "You don't need your flashers on. What are you doing?" And Mason's like, "I thought I need to pulling over on the
Oh,
side
yeah,
of the road."
everybody flashing. The ambulance
I'm
flashing,
I'm
I'm
pro.
flashing.
I told Mason that when I get in any car, the first thing I do is find out where their flasher button is in case I have an emergency.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
what I just think that's like people aren't paying attention, and a blinker's not going to do it. They need to see me flashing. Like if I'm stopping
Right.
or slowing down real quick, I am always hitting that flasher button. Man, I drive around with that button on.
He's like Benjamin Button, so I take for granted sometimes. Like I feel like he just should know how to drive because he drives my truck here at the
He
house.
drives a side by
Forward and
side.
backward, and he drives a side by side, which is all the same move.
I thought he would be a natural too.
Yeah, and then
You're expecting him to know.
I'm
what's
expecting him to
going
know
on.
what's going on, and then he pulls out, and there's like cars coming, and he's going like 5 miles an
Yeah,
hour. I'm
like,
like,
hit the
dude, step on the gas. What are you doing?
Hit your hazard.
Yeah.
Yeah, hit the hazards, do something.
Just drive with them on them. I'm gonna get one of those student driver stickers for the back of the
I thought about that too for my truck.
I always thought they
because-
were lame, but they
Dude, we
kinda
had
make
people
sense.
passing us on Cambria Main Road, like in town. We were going like 23, and cars were just vroom, vroom, going around us. I'm like, man, you
He's a
gotta
very
speed up.
cautious driver. But then at the roundabout, it's like when you're not in the roundabout, you have to yield to everyone inside of it, which I told Mason and Jesse when he got home. He's like, dang, Mason stopped at the roundabout. And I was like, what are you doing? It's a yield sign, not a stop sign. And I was like, yeah, Jesse, because if there was cars in the roundabout, they're not yielding. You were like, oh, dang, maybe I shouldn't be driving with him.
Right.
Like, I'm not telling him the right rules of the road.
I don't know. For some reason, I don't get more wrecks, but like I don't know how. Cause just earlier I turned out And then I was driving and I thought, man, I don't even remember looking. And I looked in my rearview mirror and there was like a car right on
Oh
my
my
ass. I'm like,
God.
wonder where that car was when I turned out.
It's
Like,
your spirit
Yeah,
guide
that's just
for
cruise
directing your
along,
ass.
just turn. I got a lot
Yeah.
of blind spots in my truck.
You yell a lot.
I can just see like, like
Minimal.
yeah, I can see like 200 feet out because it's up so high.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
It's
I
a hard
keep my
truck to
seat
drive.
down and back a little bit so I can see
Like
everything.
lounging, listening to rap music, like not
Yes.
even looking.
I'm on a rap music kick. Yeah, so I switch it up, but right now I'm in a rap,
Rap era.
like a 2000 rap era.
Yeah.
Um,
Sometimes he's a country boy.
Bring it
Right.
home.
yeah, sometimes,
Yes.
yeah, I like 90s rock, alternative,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Pretty much rock, but.
So,
All right,
yeah.
you mind if I get a cigarette, Mia?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me pack them up for you. These gotta last me for 2 more parties.
Is that cocaine on your thing there?
No, it's cigarettes. Broken cigarettes. All right.
All right, guys. Short episode this week, but we got a lot to do and we're in these wigs, so till next time, reckless success. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up. You can follow us on TikTok and YouTube at reckless.success, Instagram at recklesssuccess. We're on Spotify and all major podcast services. Hit that subscribe button, please. For more information on May Excavating, check out our website or TikTok. That's a wrap. Thanks.